Hello and welcome to Clearview News. We're reaching you live from Nigeria's capital city, Abuja. In the news, pandemonium in National Assembly as Shiite protesters shoot at least 4 policemen attached to the complex. Nigerian Senate resolves to apply death penalty for rape offenders to serve as deterrent to the menace. And China demands immediate cancellation of $2.2 billion arms sale to Taiwan by United States, including battle tanks and anti-aircraft missiles. I am Nten Epan with details of these and many more stories. In our left story, pandemonium broke out on Tuesday in the lobby of the National Assembly after Shiite protesters shot at least 4 policemen attached to the complex. The incident occurred around 2 p.m. while plenary was ongoing. A policeman soaked in blood was seen rushed into the lobby and to the National Assembly clinic. Another civilian was also seen led to the clinic. The Shia group has been protesting the detention of their leader, El-Zakzaky, over the years. According to an eyewitness, members of the Islamic group began coming into the National Assembly premises in pieces before they gathered into a sizable number. The group eventually overpowered security men at the first gate, but met with resistance at the second, where 4 policemen were shot by armed members of the group. The windshield of a police pickup van were also smashed. And worried about the increasing incidences of rape of women and defilement of minors in parts of the country, the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday resolved that there shall be application of the death penalty for offenders to serve as a deterrent to the menace. Apart from the death penalty for rape offenders, the lawmakers also called for an urgent review of relevant laws that will include the opening of registers of rape offenders in all parts of the country. And properties worth millions were on Tuesday gutted by fire at H Medics at the Itokumbo Demola Crescent at Wuse 2. Eyewitnesses say the fire started at about 1 p.m. from the store's warehouse. While the store owners were making frantic efforts to rescue some of the items, the presence of fire service officials was visible on the scene. An eyewitness Monday Otori told Clearview Television that the fire had lingered.
About 1 p.m. this afternoon, I was sitting down at my working place, so there was a smoke gushing up from the warehouse, as in HMD's warehouse. So I think it was a fire outbreak. So, but I think the fault is from the people out there, from people that are working that place. So I think they did not call the fire service earlier. That is the cause of the fire outbreak. So I think it leads to excess fire over there. I think that is the reason why the fire is much. So that is why.
Wetin happen for here?
No be small thing o. As you dey see this way, dey see that is 1 o'clock, you don dey start the burn, fire don dey burn o. Wetin dey pay me be say una wey be Naija, make dem come back and make dem quench kabada. But this one I no dey understand. Since that is the burn like fire.
And at the time of filing in this report, men of the fire service were still trying to put the inferno out. Nigeria's opposition People's Democratic Party on Tuesday told the Presidential Election Petitions Tribunal that its presidential candidate Atiku Abubakar defeated President Muhammadu Buhari in his home state of Katsina. Salisu Maijigiri, who is the PDP's state chairman in Katsina and was the party's coalition agent in the state, said the results declared by the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) were untrue. He said APC scored 872,000 and PDP scored 905,000. The electoral body had declared that Buhari polled 1,232,133 votes to beat his closest challenger, Atiku Abubakar, who had 308,056 votes. The difference between both candidates was 924,077 votes, with Buhari winning in all the 34 local government areas in the state. Abubakar and his party have their petition challenging the victory of Buhari, and the All Progressives Congress at the poll filed before the five-man tribunal led by Justice Mohammed Garba. They had tendered the form with a view to establishing their petition against Buhari on his qualification for the last presidential election. The party also tendered the final results of the election signed by the INEC chairman, Professor Mahmoud Yakubu. This was admitted as exhibit, and also tendered and admitted at exhibit were documents containing the total number of voters in INEC's register and the number of collected permanent voter cards for the election. Nigeria's opposition People's Democratic Party told the election tribunal that its candidates defeated Buhari in the president's home state of Katsina.
Well as yesterday are basically witnesses testifying on behalf of the petitioners that there indeed existed and still exists a central server owned by INEC, the first respondent, into which all polling results during the presidential and National Assembly elections that took place on the 23rd of February this year were transmitted electronically. That is very important, electronically. And witness after witness has maintained that fact that they were trained by INEC officials to use the electronic device of transmitting records and polling results. And that INEC did in fact tell them that anywhere the card reader failed, they should not do manual accreditation. That means polling should not take place in that unit. They've maintained that position. They've been consistent. They've never deviated, even under the fire of cross-examination. And witness after witness has said, whether those things were written in the manual or not, INEC did in fact train them. Some of them between 5 and 6 a.m. on the day of the election. Some others a day before the election, as to how to use the device, how they were given a secret code with which they would transmit this result electronically, and that this code belonged to INEC and was to be made secret and confidential and must never be disclosed to any person. They be consistent about that there existed a central server into which results of the election were electronically transmitted. That has never so far been contradicted.
The Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Federal Minister of Justice, Dayo Akpata, has hailed the decision of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, saying it is a vindication of Nigeria's right to proceed with prosecution of the violation of Nigerian law, which is a key part of its effort to combat maritime crimes in the Gulf of Guinea. The Solicitor General made the remark in Abuja while reacting to the ruling of the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea, which delivered judgment in favor of Nigeria. Magdalene Michael has a report.
It all started when Operation Forward Base of the Nigerian Navy in Bonny River State arrested a ship on January 23, 2018. The oil tanker registered with Canton Voyage Shipping Company ABC Maritime, and its crew members were detained for alleged diesel smuggling and violation of Nigeria's territorial waters. The captain of the ship had denied the allegations, saying he had all papers covering him and the transactions. Some crew members, except 4 Ukrainians, had already been allowed to leave the ship, which had the capacity of 5,500 tons of cargo. To this end, Swiss authorities filed a suit against Nigeria at the National Court over the detention of San Pedro Pyro. Solicitor General of the Federation and Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Justice, Dayo Akpata, who commended the International Tribunal for the Law of the Sea on the order on provisional measure, described it as a welcome development.
Really want to appreciate the ruling of the arbitral court, international arbitral court, and we taking this to mean that as it is, until the Switzerland post the 14 million security bond, and that undertaking we are on safe hands, and we also want to appreciate our lawyers, our international lawyers who have taken up this challenge, and we want to tell the whole world that the actions of the EFCC is not contrary to any law.
With the conclusion of the provisional measure phase, the parties will now proceed to adjudicate the underlying disputes at the Annex 7 Arbitral Tribunal. Magdalene Michael reporting for Clearview Television.
The National and State Assembly Election Petitions Tribunal in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, has thrown out the application for additional witness statement brought before it by the senatorial candidate of the All Progressives Congress APC Chief Stephen Lawani. Lawani is challenging the election of Abamoro in the last election in the state. The tribunal, headed by Justice A. Atelier, had earlier rejected Lawani's application for the inclusion of additional witnesses in the petition after the expiration of the mandatory 21 days provided for such amendments. In another ruling on Monday, Atelier said the tribunal would no longer entertain applications after the expiration of 21 days provided by law. He said such application was aimed at delaying the dispensation of justice in the petition, which was time-bound. Commenting on the ruling, counsel to the second respondent, the People's Democratic Party, Clement Moe, said a similar application, which was thrown out by the tribunal, had earlier been dismissed by the Court of Appeal with cost attached. The Chief Magistrate's Court in Zuba has granted a 5 million naira bail to Elisha Abo hours after the police arraigned the senator on a 2-count charge of criminal assault. The magistrate also said the senator must present 2 competent sureties to the court to secure his appearance in subsequent hearings on criminal charges. Abo pleaded not guilty to both charges, sidestepping his admission of wrongdoing in an apology to both the victims and Nigerians last Wednesday. The police filed 2 counts of criminal use of force and criminal assault against Abo on Monday morning, days after he was caught on video assaulting a woman in Abuja. The video of the May 11 assault by Abo drew nationwide condemnation and calls for the senator's arrest and prosecution. Abo, Nigeria's youngest senator and member of the opposition PDP, spent the night in custody after responding to police summons on Thursday. The National Council for Women's Society, the NCWS, FCT chapter on Sunday rejected the apology tendered by Senator Elisha Abo for assaulting a nursing mother in Abuja adult toy shop recently. The FCT chairman of NCWS, Hadiza Omar, while briefing newsmen in Abuja, advocated for stiffer punishment for Abo to serve as a deterrent to others who assault women in workplaces, shops, or markets. She called on the United Nations and all other international organizations to ensure the prosecution of Abo in order to guard against future occurrences. She disclosed that the Secretariat had sent an invitation to Abo for him to come and explain what transpired.
As it is, a case of this nature needs some forensic analysis, particularly when it has to do with CCTV, and that is another is an aspect that it has to be properly conducted. We have to have our hard facts as evidence in the course of this. Arraignment on information on FIR is purely just on prima facie. That is the little evidence gathered in the course of preliminary investigation. But we'll go further than that, because the requirement of the law is that we should prove our case beyond reasonable doubt. So anything that is likely to arise that will maybe lead to doubt in the minds of the court, we have to eliminate them. And that is why there is need for in-depth investigation, which is yet to be concluded. And that, I can assure you, will be done as quickly as possible.
Number one, you know that in the present age of technology, anything can happen. You agree with me? Anything can happen in the present state of technology. One. Two, you did not see the beginning of that clip. Something was shown to you. Not the something must have preceded that. You didn't see that. But beyond, the important thing is that this matter is now sub judice. Let's leave it as it is. It's now before the court. You don't try a person. To be fair to the senator, you don't try a person on media. You try him in court. If they're able to assemble the fact that they said they are going to assemble, well, we are here to defend him. If they are not able to assemble the fact, we are also here, and the court will do justice. Let us leave it for the court to do. Let it not be the decision of you and I by saying video clip. You agree before. If the Kano State governor, if they say because of video clip, he should have been in jail by now, and he may be in jail wrongly. So you cannot entirely rely on any alleged media clip somewhere. So hard evidence must be brought to court. That's all.
And away from judicial matters now, Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello has formally commissioned the Igala Unity House in Ayimba, as well as flagged off the reconstruction of the road linking Dekina and Ayimba towns. Commissioning the Unity House, Governor Bello acknowledged the role of the traditional rulers in the senatorial district for ensuring the completion of the ultra-modern building and pledged continued democracy dividends for Igala people during his second term in office.
Traditional rulers, top government officials, sons and daughters of Igala land converged on the city of Ayimba to express their joy over the commissioning of Igala Unity House, which many said is long overdue. The immediate past Minister of State, Labor and Employment, Stephen Ocheni, was among those who highlighted the significance of the house.
The Igala Unity House is for progress, it's for development. Governor Bello has done much for the Igala people, including myself.
The Igala Unity House is an amplification of what was to be a small building where the Igala used to stay during any functions.
We are here to celebrate the solemnity of the unity of all Igala sons and daughters.
Governor Yaya Bello was appreciated by Kogi residents for what was described as his efforts at ensuring development for all in the state.
We have had a series of leaders, even from this environment, from this senatorial district, who have served as governors from one regime or to another, who had never thought it deemed it fit to have a unity house. So the achievement of Governor Yaya Bello today is immeasurable.
I will continue to remain loyal to Alhaji Yahaya Adoza Bello. Why? Because he has shown the Ghana people unusual love. I want to assure you that Igalas who value good gesture will reward you very soon in a way and manner that will be astonishing to the whole world.
My profound gratitude to the governor of Kogi State, His Excellency Alhaji Yaya Opanashi Bello, for the exceptional interest he showed in the Igala Unity House project.
Many describe the Igala House as a vehicle for promoting unity, love, and peace.
It has been our dream for quite a long time, but today our dream has been realized. God has helped us to have accomplished our good intentions.
The Ata Igala, His Royal Majesty Ame Michael Oboni II, expressed delight. And elected Governor Bello promised to always be there for Igala people, as he is for the rest of Kogi State.
I can never
deny that my governorship is a divine project with massive strength and support from Igala people. I decided from inception that Igala land would not be diminished in importance, access, or patronage in my administration.
The ultra-modern house was redesigned and built at the cost of over 100 million naira to serve as a rallying point for Igala people within and outside the state. The event was spiced up by Igala artists from across Nigeria. Governor Bello paid homage to the Eje Dekina before commissioning work on the Dekina-Ayingba roads, which is expected to be completed before the end of his administration. In Abuja, Busola Oworu reporting for Clearview Television.
And Taraba State Governor Darius Ishaku says his doors are open to all that wish to make contributions to the development of the state irrespective of political party affiliations. The governor was speaking when he received his arch-rival in the 2015 governorship election, Aisha Al-Hassan, who contested on the platform of the All Progressives Congress. We'll bring you details of that report in our subsequent bulletins. And moving on now, the People's Democratic Party on Monday insisted on Kingsley Chinda as his choice for the position of Minority Leader of the House of Representatives. The PDP National Publicity Secretary Kola Ologbondiyan, who stated this in Abuja, charged Speaker Femi Gbajabiamila to respect the party's choice of its principal officers. Ologbondiyan was reacting to a plea by some opposition lawmakers in the House to rescind the suspension of Ndudi Elumelu and 6 others for their roles in the leadership crisis in the Minority Caucus. Last Friday, the PDP National Working Committee suspended Elumelu, Tobi Okechukwu, Gideon Gwani, Shegun Adekoya, Anayo Edwin, Wole Oke, and Linda Ikbazu for their role in the leadership crisis in the PDP caucus of the House of Representatives. The opposition spokesman noted that at the moment there is no communication before the party seeking clemency for the suspended lawmakers. Ologbondiyan added that at the moment the party insists on the status quo, which is that the party wrote the names of the minority leaders as agreed with members of the House of Representatives at a meeting at the National Secretariat of the party. The National Population Commission (NPC) says Nigeria is still lagging behind in meeting the Cairo Plan, which emphasizes support for policies that give women greater control over their lives, promote economic equality and opportunity, and give them a greater voice in reproductive decisions. Acting chairman of the commission, Yusuf Anka, disclosed this at a press briefing in Abuja as part of the activities for the World Population Day, officially commemorated annually on the 11th of July. Correspondent Uju Onyemechalu tells us more.
Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa, with many saying that out of every 3 blacks in the world, 1 is a Nigerian. According to the official post-independence census figures, Nigeria's population was 56.6 million in 1963, 88.9 million in 1991, and 140 million in 2006. The latest estimates by the National Population Commission put the figure at 198 million in 2018, making it the 7th most populous nation, accounting for 2.5% of the world's population. The theme of this year's Population Day is 25 years of the International Conference on Population and Development, Accelerating the Promise. And speaking at the briefing, the acting chairman Yusuf Anka opined that implementing the Cairo Plan will enable women to decide freely the timing and spacing of their pregnancies. This, for him, would clear the way to sustainable development.
This year's theme is therefore to celebrate that remarkable proposition and to raise awareness about how choices and opportunities have changed for girls and women since that 1994 ICPD, and we join the rest of the world to commemorate the event. The major task facing our country is how far we have been able to implement these key activities as initiated in the Cairo Plan.
The World Population Day is an event observed on July 11 every year since 1989 to raise awareness of global population issues such as the importance of family planning, gender equality, maternal health, human rights, and poverty. Uju Onyemechalo reporting for Clearview Television.
And you're still watching the news coming to you on Clearview TV. We'll take a short break. When we come back, there'll be more. Please stay with us.
But that was before I got the perfect bag. It's handy and easy to use. All I need in one compact space, just like my MTN Extra Value plan. I used to get one plan for my calls and then try to remember which data plan worked for me. Roaming was a totally different ballgame. Not anymore. I've got the MTN Extra Value all-in-one plan. If you're a data buff like me, you get extra data with some talk time. And if you like to make calls, you get extra talk time with some data. And when I'm abroad, I automatically browse, chat, and call right on the same plan. MTN Extra Value was made just for me.
More of data or calls, whichever one you prefer. MTN Extra Value is made just for you.
Nigeria has begun the electronic seed certification program for the benefit of farmers, and to this end, the Nigerian Agricultural Seed Council (NASC) says the council has moved from the present visual to diagnostic certification. Director General of the Council, Philip Ojo, made this known in Zaria, Kaduna State at the 3-day sensitization and training workshop on operations and uses of National Seed Tracker with the theme New Methods in Seed Certification and Quality Assurance, with about 400 seed certification, quality control officers, and stakeholders in the agricultural value chain in attendance. Correspondent Anita Patrick has more.
With the new National Agricultural Seed Bill 2019 in place, Ojo says National Agricultural Seed Council can conveniently operate with current dynamics in global seed trade and create a better conducive atmosphere for private sector participation in the nation's seed industry. And in this regard, he added that the bill will give a sense of belonging to the seed industry and translate into bumper harvests for farmers, as well as more options for quality assurance in third-party certification.
So there's modification of penalties for infringement to ensure that it is severe enough and to serve as a deterrent, such as imprisonment for 1 year or fine of 1 million naira for first offender and 2 million naira for a repeated offender. The seed law has actually given us a lot of other options. There's going to be third-party certification now, particularly because of the fact that the council is still on the ground and we have to go along with global best practices. We are going to ensure that private sector operators who are accredited can carry out seed certification.
The Executive Director, National Agriculture Extension for Research Liaison Services, Professor Khalid Othman, and the Director, Seed Certification and Quality Control, Khalid Ishaq, say without quality seed, farmers' production will be truncated, hence the need to embrace the new Seed Tracker initiative.
Looking at the role of National Seed Council, I know it has a very challenging role for the simple reason that Nigerian population is increasing and the demand is increasing, because their rate of population increase about 3%. In the next 20 years, Nigeria will be the third most populous country. Already, Nigeria today is the 9th most populous country, and it's going to overtake all the 6 in the next 20 years. And everybody will need food too on the table. So, what it means is that Nigeria must double efforts if we are really talking of providing food for ourselves, not talk of trying to even export.
One of the certification officers from Northwest Zone, Romoke Akande, said the transition from the analog to electronic certification of seeds will enable easy monitoring of seeds to the source by the council and farmers. She added that farmers, with the help of the seed tracker, will be able to discern adulterated seeds from anywhere in the world electronically.
Before, we have been doing carry out the seed activities manually, of which everybody knows that it's very, very tedious. You know, before you go, let's start from GPS. This one is even more advanced than GPS because you have to go along, moving around, because that's the primary assignment. If you are going out in the morning for certification, you have to go with your GPS, starting from moving around the area or any seed plot. But this based on the seed tracker now, there's anywhere you are, it's been digitalized and centralized. They will be watching from office, and if anybody is being able to connect with the track, you'll be able to access.
Farmers in Nigeria are now assured of access to quality seeds following the launch of electronic seed certification, while improved seedling in the agricultural value chain will ensure increased yield, among other benefits. Annie T. Patrick, reporting for Clearview Television.
And to build support for activities that will possibly lead to a sharp reduction in crude oil theft in Nigeria, stakeholders met in Abuja this Tuesday to reappraise the huge revenue losses and the negative environmental effects on the country. Arising from their consultative meeting, they renewed their call on relevant authorities not to overlook the destabilizing impact of crude oil theft on the nation's economy. Correspondent Busola Oru tells us more.
No matter what the cause that some people would say justifies their getting into the crude theft space, it can never be justified. Not for the kind of health problems that come, not for the kind of environmental issues that also come out of crude theft. So let's play down on the financials for both the government and the oil companies.
When you are producing a product from my end, and is destroying my means of livelihood, I believe you should be able to give me a substitute that will enable me to survive.
I think that the root cause is more organic. There was this United Nations economist who proffered a phrase I enjoy so much. He said, there is a poverty curtain that stretches across the world, dividing the world into two humanities, both materially and philosophically. He says that one side is embarrassingly rich, and the other side is desperately poor.
Panelists laid emphasis on the level of damage done to oil installation and facilities, loss of lives and property, saying that oil theft should be treated as a national emergency and not just a Niger Delta issue. They noted that oil theft remains one of the most intractable problems in Nigeria, with significant economic, social, environmental, health, and security implications on the citizenry and the country as a whole.
Discoveries show that our oil industry is very, very complex, highly opaque, difficult to see through. There was a lot of difficulties getting data. We also looked at the financials. 3.8 trillion naira was what was lost in 2016. This is not just from stolen crude oil. It also includes deferred productions.
Other issues highlighted are the absence of official records and data on the actual value of losses accruing from crude oil thefts. Participants argued that if oil theft is prevented, revenues generated could be channeled towards revamping key sectors such as education and health. In Abuja, Busola Owuru reporting for Clearview Television.
The new Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), Malam Mele Kyari, has promised to fix the country's 4 refineries before the end of May 2023. Speaking at the valedictory session for the former Group Managing Director of NNPC, Meikan Tibaru, and the assumption of office of the new Group Managing Director in Abuja, Kyari disclosed that the new NNPC management will transform the country into a net exporter of petroleum products before the end of the tenure of President Muhammadu Buhari. Kyari explained that NNPC will encourage public-private partnership in the revamp of the refineries and would also support involvement of private individuals in building of conventional and modular refineries. He noted that under his watch, NNPC will provide a much-needed incentives that will help the petroleum industry grow crude oil production to 3 million barrels per day and shore up the country's crude oil reserves to 40 billion barrels. Kyari vowed to carry all stakeholders along, stating that the NNPC will work with other agencies in the petroleum industry to deliver the benefits of the petroleum industry to Nigerian populace. Also speaking, former Group Managing Director of NNPC, Meikan Tibaru, expressed optimism that he was leaving the corporation in better hands, stating that Kyari and his team were the most capable and caring leaders that would take the NNPC to greater heights. According to him, before now, Kyari had effectively managed the crude oil marketing division, COMD, and the direct sales, direct purchase, DSP scheme that enabled the NNPC manage the petroleum product supply, of which without this intervention it would have been very difficult for NNPC and the country. And arrangements are in top gear for this year's conference on the fight against tuberculosis, with the theme Building Stronger Partnerships to End TB in Nigeria. The conference is being organized in conjunction with the Federal Ministry of Health. Clearview TV's Rosa Olu was at the pre-event news briefing and now reports.
Pre-conference briefing, the board chairman, Stop TB Partnership Nigeria, Dr. Lovett Lawson, said Lagos State has the highest tuberculosis cases in Nigeria, hence the need to kickstart this year's TB conference with a preliminary forum built for July 14 in Nation's Economic Nerve Center before the main event holding from July 17th to 18th in Abuja.
Organizations to appraise them of TB control in Nigeria. The dinner forum with the private sector organizations will be hosted by the Executive Governor of Lagos.
Speaking, Dr. Ahmad Mohammed, Deputy Director, National TB and Leprosy Control Program, said research is ongoing to find solution to tuberculosis in Nigeria.
For the control of specifically use of the gene expert NTB RIF technology as the primary diagnostic tool for TB among all preventive TB cases in the country, including people living with HIV/AIDS. There are 3,390 gene expert sites in the country. Our target is to at least have one gene expert site per local government. We equally provide TB services in over 6,500 dot centers across the country, both in private and public health institutions.
TB Partnership Nigeria. The objectives of the scheduled forum include increasing political commitment and domestic resources for TB control and prevention through promoting the use of corporate social responsibility by individuals and organizations to support the program. Rose Audu, reporting for Clearview Television.
Up next is foreign news and sports. That's after this break. Stay with us.
Next. Lagbaja. Omo Baba Muko.
Na Baba be that.
How do I know you are not an impostor? Oya, play me something.
Abba, my band members are all over the world. Let me connect with them on Glow 4G and make some great music for you. Who's on Glow here?
I got Glow. I've got Glow too.
I go show you.
Hello, sir.
Aleki, Gogo, Jide, guitar. Uzo, give me conga. Ahmed, keyboard. 1, 2, 3.
No matter where you are in the world, rest assured, Glow has you covered. Glow Oga SIM, the unrivaled big boss of data. Upgrade to a 4G SIM for free and get 125% bonus. Also enjoy 25% data bonus on all auto renewals. Dial *777# to choose a plan.
In China has demanded that the United States immediately cancel a potential $2.2 billion arms sales to Taiwan, including battle tanks and anti-aircraft missiles. Addressing reporters on Tuesday, Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesman Zheng Shuang said the Beijing had lodged formal complaints through diplomatic channels, expressing strong dissatisfaction and resolute opposition to the proposed sale. Shuang called the proposed deal a crude interference in Chinese internal affairs that harmed China's sovereignty and security interests. He added that nobody should underestimate the Chinese government's and people's firm determination to defend the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity and oppose foreign interference. The move will be Washington's first big-ticket military sale to the democratically governed island in decades and comes amid deteriorating ties between the U.S. and China, the world's two largest economies that have been locked in an acrimonious trade war. It risks further heightening tensions with China, which considers Taiwan a breakaway province and has not ruled out the use of force to bring the self-ruled island under its control. And despite Chinese criticism of the deal, the U.S. State Department has approved the possible arms sale to Taiwan, estimated to be worth $2.2 billion. The Pentagon said on Monday that the sale of the weapons requested by Taiwan, including 108 General Dynamics Corps M1A2T Abraham tanks and 250 Stinger missiles, will not alter the basic military balance in the region. Pentagon's Defense Secretary Cooperation Agency, in a statement notifying Congress of the possible arms sale, said it could also include mounted machine guns, ammunition, Hercules armored vehicles for recovering inoperative tanks, heavy equipment transporters, and related support. China's foreign ministry said last month, when the possible sale was first reported, that it was seriously concerned about U.S. arms sale to self-ruled Taiwan, and asked the U.S. to halt the sales to avoid harming bilateral ties. The United States is the main arms supplier to Taiwan, which China considers a renegade province. Beijing has never announced the use of force to bring the island under its control. Taiwan President Tsai Ing-wen said in March that Washington was responding positively to Taipei's request for new arms sales to bolster its defense in the face of pressure from China. Washington has no formal ties with Taiwan, but is bound by law to help provide it with the means to defend itself. The American Institute of Taiwan, based in the capital Taipei, acts as its de facto embassy. Less than 20 countries recognize Taiwan as an independent nation. And Hong Kong's leader Carrie Lam has said the controversial bill that would have allowed extradition to Chinese mainland is dead. At a press conference on Tuesday, Ms. Lam said the government's work on the bill had been a total failure, but she stopped short of saying it had been fully withdrawn, and protesters have vowed to continue mass rallies. The bill sparked weeks of unrest in the city, and the government had already suspended it indefinitely. Lam said there are still lingering doubts about the government's sincerity or worries whether the government will restart the process in the Legislative Council. She had previously said the bill will die in 2021, the current legislative term ends. Protest leaders have reacted angrily to Ms. Lam's latest attempt to placate them. And Russia says the portfolio of India's orders for Russian weapons and military equipment is around $14 billion. Vladimir Droshov, Deputy Director of Russia's Federal Service for Military Technical Cooperation, told reporters on Tuesday that they were promising Russia-India ventures to be explored. BrahMos has already proved to be very effective. A joint venture for the production of Ka-226 helicopters has been established. And Yemen's Houthi rebels have called for the full withdrawal of a military coalition led by Saudi Arabia and the United Arab Emirates after the latter said it had begun reducing its deployment in the war-torn country. The head of the Houthi rebels' Supreme Revolutionary Committee, Mohammed Ali al-Houthi, tweeted on Monday saying, "We call on the aggressors to withdraw from Yemen as the Republic of Yemen rejects aggression, siege, and embargo. Withdrawing from Yemen is the ideal decision that must be taken at this time." Up next is sports with Tolu, and that will come after this break. Don't go away.
Force through the dogged efforts of the Inspector General of Police, IG Mohammed A. Adamu, in a bid to combat the high rate of criminality and criminal elements. Kidnappers, domestic offenders, violence, cultism, rape, robbery, amongst so many others, has launched the Police VGS mobile app. The Police VGS mobile app is a web-based dispatch system for quick emergency reporting of incidents by citizens, for the prompt response by the Nigerian police and other emergency and security agencies. Within 5 seconds of reporting, the appropriate government security or emergency agencies will be alerted and help will be deployed immediately. If you find yourself in a situation where your life or the life of another is threatened, such as kidnap, rape, robbery, road accidents, fire incidents, medical emergencies, natural disasters, or any attempt on your life or the life of a fellow Nigerian, all you need to do is to silently swipe the Police VGS app on your mobile phone. Policemen will be alerted immediately and help will be sent your way promptly. This is particularly handy in case of kidnap on the highway, roadside, one chance, or case of robbery or any communal unrest whatsoever. All a victim needs to do is just to swipe the app on a phone, either as a victim or an observer. Policemen will be alerted immediately and help will be deployed for appropriate intervention. Apart from reporting emergencies, the app also has a unique features such as Escort Me. Once this app is active,
Hello and welcome to the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimehin Tolulapa Oguntimehin. President of Nigeria Football Federation, Amaju Melvin Pinnick, has called on the Super Eagles to rise to the occasion and do the nation proud in Wednesday's African Cup of Nations quarterfinal battle with South Africa in Cairo. At a meeting with the players at breakfast on Tuesday, the man who is also chief organizer of the AFCON 2019 Championship urged the three-time champions to give their all when confronting the Bafana. Pinnick also called on the Super Eagles through winning, show gratitude to President Muhammadu Buhari as a person and the Federal Republic as an institution for all the ready support and encouragement over the years. Pinnick, who is also the vice president of CAF, then presented the sum of $75,000 promised the team by NFF official Optimum partner ITO Group for their 3 goals against Cameroon and also in Alexandria, while assuring them that the 20,000 per player promise made by Captain Osia Wells Okumbo will be redeemed before Wednesday's match. Responding, team captain Michael John Obi showered encomiums on Mr. Pinnick and the NFF, noting that since the advent of his administration, Things have improved tremendously for the Super Eagles. Victory over South Africa will take the Super Eagles to the semi-finals of the biggest African Cup of Nations tournament ever held, involving 24 teams, and for which a Nigerian, Mr. Pinnick himself, as the president of the organizing committee. Nigeria and South Africa at each other's jugular in what promised to be a frenetic African Cup of Nations quarter-final attrition at the Cairo International Stadium Wednesday night, while the Super Eagles bonded out cup holders and five-time champions Cameroon 3-2 in the round of 16 in Alexandria on Saturday. The Bafana shock host nation and seven-time champion Egypt 1-0 in front of some 12,000 fans at the Cairo International Stadium. Nigeria won the African title in 1980, 1994 and 2013, while South Africa won when they hosted in 1996. Both teams were in the same qualifying pool during the campaign to reach Egypt 2019, with the Eagles finishing top of the pile, while South Africa, who stunned Nigeria 2-0 in Rio on Thursday of the series, came second. Their second match in Johannesburg ended 1-1, granting Nigeria a ticket to the finals ahead of the final match day. The confidence, tactical discipline, savvy, and vision that South Africa showed in their defeat of Egypt was evident for the world to see, but the world also saw the same competence, capacity, unyielding spirit, and masterliness that the Super Eagles exhibited in ejecting defending champions from the tournament. South Africa has never beaten Nigeria in the African Cup of Nations final, with their two previous meetings, a semi-final clash in 2000 in Lagos and a group phase encounter in 2004 in Monastery, ended 2-0 and 4-0 respectively in favor of the Super Eagles. When South Africa won their only title in 1996 on home ground, Nigeria were absent as a result of a boycott ordered by the military despot Sani Abacha. The withdrawal led to a CAF suspension that accounted for another absence in 1998, where South Africa reached the final, losing to Egypt. Nigeria has never ended an African Cup of Nations finals empty-handed, where they eliminated the defending champions. Captain Mikel Obi has backed the Super Eagles to now go all the way at the 2019 African Cup of Nations after they deposed the defending champions Cameroon in the round of 16. Nigeria came from behind to beat the indomitable Lions of Cameroon 3-2 to set up a quarter-final clash against South Africa Wednesday night in Cairo. Beating the defending champion has given us the confidence that we can go all the way, said the former Chelsea star, who is nursing a knee injury in Egypt. It is a big match versus South Africa, no doubt, but we know that what we have to do, and we will do just that. Coach Genetroa said it was clear of the target on Wednesday night in Cairo. We are here to win, he declared. It's not going to be easy, but surely if you have to win the Africa Cup, you will not expect to be faced with an easy match at this stage. We know ourselves from the qualifying campaign, and it will be no holds bar on Wednesday. Both teams have clashed 13 times, with Nigeria enjoying dominance after they won 6 of their meetings, but it's 6 years ago since the Eagles beat the South Africans. Nigeria under-23 forward David Okereke will become the most expensive signing ever for Club Brugge when they finally signed for Belgian club. Media reports out of Belgium said it will cost Club Brugge €8 million when he joins them from Serie B side Spezia. Already the likes of Daniel Amokachi and Joseph Akpala have played for Club Brugge. The versatile forward, who turned down offers from Serie A clubs, has already undergone a routine medical. The Abuja Football College graduate is expected to be a direct replacement for Brazilian Wesley, who has moved to a promoted Premier League club, Aston Villa. Okereke, who made his Nigerian under-23 debut against Libya and Nasaba earlier this year, has scored 10 goals and provided 12 assists in 33 appearances for a Serie B club. Neymar has scored 34 goals in 37 league appearances since joining PSG in August 2017 to help the club win back-to-back League One title. Neymar can leave Paris Saint-Germain if there's an offer that suits everyone, says sporting director Leonardo. The Brazil forward failed to turn up for the first day of preseason training on Monday, and PSG says they will take appropriate action. The 27-year-old has been linked with a move back to former club Barcelona. Leonardo added that the first champions had not received any offers for Neymar, but there had been very superficial contact with Barcelona. Neymar joined PSG from Barcelona for a world record €222 million in August 2017. And finally, to the world of tennis. Serena Williams battled past American compatriot Alison Risky despite a sluggish performance to reach the semi-final at Wimbledon. The 23-time Grand Slam champion beat Risky 6-4, 6-4, 6-6, 6-3 to set up a last 4 meeting with Britain's Joanna Konta or Czech Barbora Sykova. Williams is chasing her 8th Wimbledon title and her 4th Grand Slam title since January 2017. It was really satisfying, the 27-year-old told media. I wouldn't have won that match a couple of weeks ago. I'm glad I was able to come through. She was honestly playing amazing. She beat so many great players. I was really pumped. It was for a place in the semis at Wimbledon, and that doesn't happen every day. It's a long, arduous road. And that's it from the sporting segment of Clearview Television. I'm Oguntimehin to Lulapo Oguntimehin.
There it is. What a shot from Tiger. And the Jamaican juggernaut scores his first goal for a professional side. And
And to conclude this bulletin, let's look at the stories that made headline once again. Pandemonium broke out in the National Assembly as shared protesters shot at least 4 policemen attached to the complex. And worried over the increasing incidences of raping of women and defilement of minors in parts of the country, the Nigerian Senate on Tuesday resolved that application of the death penalty will be best for offenders to serve as a deterrent to the menace. And China has demanded that the United States immediately cancel a potential $2.2 billion arms sale to Taiwan, including battle tanks and anti-aircraft missiles. And that's the news. Do remember that you can subscribe to our YouTube channel via Clearview TV, like us on Facebook via Clearview Television Online, follow us on Twitter at Clearview Online, as well as Instagram at Clearview TV_NG. You can also watch Clearview TV on Natchcomsat with any free-to-air decoder. For details, contact your local installer. I am Nten Epang. Many thanks for watching.